Dear friends, I hear Moses in Attic. Well, I hear Moses speaking Attic. And I don't mean he was a rich New Yorker living in a penthouse or a poor student somewhere in Europe in a mansard apartment. I mean Attic in the sense of the classical Greek language culture and influence. It has been a known and well-established fact for centuries that the Hebrew Bible is full of anachronisms. By anachronism, I mean those historical or geographical realities which are simply not fitting into the period into which they are being cast. Like, for instance, Jonah meeting the king of Nineveh, or Abraham having camels. But very often they do not fit even the period in which they were supposedly written down. And so location, name, Ur of Chaldeans could not possibly come from the time of Abraham, but could not be given by Judean exiles in Babylon either. They would know it was a nonsense. Now, 5 books of Moses were written in Hebrew, just like a lion's share of the Hebrew Bible, not counting a few chapters in Aramaic. But in their final form, they came into existence and were greatly influenced by Greek culture. The entire idea of writing a history points towards the specific period when it became a thing of writing history. This desire to write history appears around the time of Herodotus, and not much earlier. Before that, there were monumental inscriptions, royal annals, and heroic legends, but not concerted attempt on writing a narrative history. And talking about narrative history, that brings me to even stronger argument, and that is the literary genre. The narrative genre of many parts of the Bible is important and greatly revealing. So, for instance, Homer wrote epic poetry while Herodotus and Xenophon wrote in prose. Ugaritic legends of King Carrot or Daniel were all written in epic poetry, while books of Moses are predominantly written in a narrative prose. This biblical prose is but unique and unexplainable unless we date it to a different epoch. Both the desire to write history and the style in which it is being accomplished points towards the late classical and early Hellenistic period and towards Greek cultural and intellectual influences. And thus, the books of Moses were written in Hebrew, all right, but I hear them speaking Attic in respect of their period and their culture. This is a relatively new and still developing biblical scholarship, and thus it is quite likely something you might not know about the Bible.